So, Charm, man, we got another video I saw the other day. We got the worst couple deaths ever, man, by the Painful Explainer. Before we watch it, though, I'm gonna pray real quick. Well, thank you for this food. Just hope my viewers have a great day. Just turn to you and just make the best out of life, Lord. Just follow our purpose that you have for us. We love you, Lord. We're nothing without you. Jesus, I'm in the Jesus, I'm in Amen.
LaBianca murders. On August 10th, 1969, Los Angeles was still reeling from the brutal killings at a home the previous night. But no one knew the horror was about to continue. A 44-year-old grocery store executive and his wife, approximately 38 or 39 years old, and a boutique owner, had just returned to their home in Los Feliz after a weekend trip. The couple settled in for the night, unaware that several intruders had already selected their house as the next target. Around 2 a.m., the couple was awakened by intruders in their bedroom. The group's leader was present initially, tying their hands with leather thongs and reassuring them they would not be harmed. After robbing them, the leader left the scene. 3 followers then took over. The couple was separated. The wife was taken to the bedroom, while the husband remained in the living room. A pillowcase was placed over his head, secured with lamp cord wrapped around his neck. Similar restraints were used on the wife. One attacker began stabbing the husband with a chrome-plated bayonet. The first wound penetrated his throat. Despite the injury, he cried out, "Don't stab me anymore!" In the bedroom, the wife could hear the sounds of her husband being attacked. She fought desperately against her restraints, swinging the lamp still attached to the cord around her neck as the male attacker stabbed her husband 12 times. When the 2 female attackers struggled to subdue the wife, the male attacker entered the bedroom and stabbed her with the bayonet. The women then continued the attack with kitchen knives. She was stabbed 41 times. Evidence later showed that many of these wounds were inflicted after death. The killers then carved the word war into the husband's abdomen and left a fork protruding from his stomach. They wrote "Rise, Death to Pigs" and "Helter Skelter" in blood on the walls. The murderers were eventually caught and sentenced to life imprisonment after their death. Sentences were commuted when California temporarily abolished capital punishment. Wedding day crash. On July 22, 2016, what should have been the happiest day of their lives turned into a nightmare. A 58-year-old groom and his 57-year-old bride had married that morning at Leeds Register office. After the reception, the newlyweds left with another married couple, close friends who had attended the celebration. The 63-year-old husband drove the Suzuki with the groom in the front passenger seat. The 60-year-old wife and the bride sat in the back. They were heading to Scarborough for a week's holiday along the A64 road.
And a lot of, like, if it's your homeboy and his girl and your and y'all niggas know what I mean, bro. How would y'all separate that? Like, would you have your homeboy in the front seat, your girl in the back seat, where the other girl, or would you have your girl in the front seat, your homeboy in the back seat? Person like me, I don't know, I just don't feel right with my homeboy behind me. But if we get used to like hanging out, all 4 of us, I'll play with my girl in the back seat. I don't want nobody sitting behind. I don't want no dude sitting behind me. I ain't gonna lie. It all just depends, though, whether she wants to sit back or not. Other than that, she always sit in front.
It was around 3:40 in the afternoon, with
my mom, I can't. You can't. So.
Heavy but flowing traffic. The 4 traveled together toward their destination. Investigators later determined that the driver may have been momentarily distracted by something in the car. The car drifted across the center line, near Scampston Bridge, toward their destination. Investigators later determined that the driver may have been momentarily distracted by something in the car. The car drifted across the center line, near Scampston Bridge. Oncoming was a 38-ton truck driven by a truck driver. The truck driver saw the car cross into his lane about 10 meters ahead and slammed his brakes, but the distance was too short. In the seconds before impact, a witness following behind saw the collision happen. Evidence showed the car traveled quite a considerable distance over the white line. The driver did not brake. The car plowed into the front of the lorry. The impact was catastrophic. The Suzuki flipped onto its roof, the truck's massive weight crushing the passenger compartment. The car suffered catastrophic damage. All 4 wore seatbelts, but they were useless against such overwhelming force. The coroner later stated it was most unlikely anyone could have survived. Medical examiners determined that all 4 died from multiple injuries. All 4 died at the scene. The groom, a former purchaser, and the bride, a former healthcare worker, were both from Leeds. The male driver, a conservation
You gotta
officer,
you gotta
and his
pay attention.
wife, a well-known local artist from
On the road,
Scarborough, also perished. The coroner recorded verdicts of accidental death for all four. The coroner ruled the truck driver was blameless, stating he was in no position whatsoever to avoid the catastrophic
That's not
collision.
fine.
No drugs
That
or
doesn't sound
alcohol
good.
were involved. The coroner concluded that we will never know what caused the momentary distraction. Torture of an elderly couple. On April 14, 2013, the quiet community of Davis, California was shattered by a crime of unimaginable brutality. An 87-year-old retired attorney and musician and his wife, a 76-year-old pastoral associate, were asleep in their bedroom in a condominium on Cowell Boulevard. The couple was known for their community involvement and gentle demeanors. In the early morning hours of April 14th, a 15-year-old boy broke into their home by cutting a screen on a window. The teenager,
15-year-old
who
boy.
had a history of homicidal fantasies, moved silently through the house until he reached the couple's bedroom.
Cut the
He
window?
stood watching fantasies into their home by demeanors. In
Bro,
the early
what?
morning hours of April 14th, a 15-year-old boy broke into their home by cutting a screen on a window. The teenager, who had a history of homicidal
He cut the screen thing on the window. And just opened the
fantasies,
window, I
moved
guess.
silently through the house until he reached the couple's bedroom. He stood watching
you
them
gotta watch
sleep
those
for
stuff too,
several
bro.
minutes, trembling with nervous excitement about what he was about to do. The wife awoke and screamed when she saw the teenager standing over them. In the darkness, they could make out the shape of a knife in his hand. The attacker immediately began his attack, stabbing the wife as she screamed. When the husband awoke, the attacker stabbed him as well. The teenager tortured them as he stabbed the husband 61 times and the
Damn.
wife 67 times with a 6-inch hunting knife. The wife pleaded with him to stop as the teenager continued his assault. Blood soaked the bedsheets and splattered across the walls. The couple's cries became weaker as they lost blood, but the attack only intensified. After the killings, the attacker disemboweled and mutilated their bodies. He cut open their torsos and placed objects inside them. Later, he would tell investigators he felt pure happiness during these acts, and that the murders gave him
wow.
the most exhilarating, enjoyable feeling he had ever felt. After his arrest, the teenager
watch this
described the
episode.
killings in chilling detail. He was tried as an adult despite his age and sentenced to 52 years to life
You
in
gotta watch
prison.
some
In
stuff.
2016, Proposition
feel that out.
57 led to a hearing in 2018 where a judge ruled the case should remain in adult court, keeping him in adult prison. Subsequent legal challenges
Damn,
have been
an adult
rejected,
prison at
maintaining his
15?
adult sentence. Yacht killings. On November 15th, 2004, a
Alright.
couple had decided to sell their 55-foot yacht, the Well-Deserved. The 57-year-old husband, a retired probation officer, and his 47-year-old wife, a home
In the lab, bro. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, I want to get on a yacht too
homemaker,
before I have kids.
planned to move closer to their
That's
new
all I'm
grandchild in Arizona. They had lived aboard the yacht for several years, sailing along the California coast
I
into
used to know about
Mexico.
it,
The
bro.
prospective buyer, a former
have
child
a
actor on the
March
show,
buddy sister.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, arrived with an accomplice for a sea trial. The buyer's
Thanks.
pregnant wife and their baby had attended an earlier meeting, which helped gain the
Wait,
couple's
what?
trust.
Hold on.
Child planned to move their old husband, a retired probation officer, and his 47-year-old wife, a homemaker, planned to move closer to their new grandchild in Arizona. They had lived aboard the yacht for several years, sailing along the California coast into Mexico. The
You go live on a yacht.
prospective buyer, a former child actor on the
Oh.
show, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, arrived
Oh. I used to love my Power
with
Rangers.
an accomplice for a sea trial. The buyer's pregnant wife and their baby had attended an earlier meeting, which helped gain the couple's trust. The couple had no reason to suspect danger as they welcomed the visitors aboard their vessel.
Man, I got why? We're so mad.
Newport Beach. Once the yacht reached open water, approximately 5 to 10 miles offshore, the situation changed abruptly. The buyer and his accomplice, along with another accomplice who had joined them, suddenly overpowered the couple. They forced the husband and wife to sign documents transferring ownership of the yacht and giving access to their bank accounts. The terrified couple had no choice but to comply, hoping cooperation might save their lives. After obtaining the signatures, the attackers bound the couple with duct tape and handcuffs. They blindfolded them and secured them together with rope attached to the yacht's anchor. The husband and wife were still conscious, still aware of what was happening to them. The wife sobbed and begged for her life, saying she was too young to die. The husband fought back, kicking the buyer so hard he knocked him off his feet, but the first accomplice struck the husband with a devastating punch. According to eyewitness testimony from the third accomplice, who later cooperated with authorities, both were still alive when they went into the water. The anchor pulled them down rapidly. The wife's head struck the side of the yacht as she was dragged overboard. The water at that location was several thousand feet deep. They would have struggled instinctively against their restraints, but there was no escape from the ocean's depths. Their bodies have never been recovered. The buyer and first accomplice were eventually convicted and received death sentences, while the buyer's wife received life imprisonment without parole. The third accomplice accepted a plea bargain after testifying for the prosecution. Lovers Lane Massacre. On December 20th, 1968, the crisp winter air enveloped Lake Herman Road in Benicia, California. A 17-year-old Eagle Scout had borrowed his mother's Rambler for his first date with a 16-year-old junior at Hogan High School, known for her cheerful personality. The male teenager was a senior at Vallejo High School. Both were well-regarded students with promising futures. The couple had told their parents they were going to a Christmas concert at school, but like many teenagers, they sought privacy.
What is it, Christmas concert at school?
They drove to a secluded turnout along Lake Herman Road, a popular spot for young couples. The area was dark, illuminated only by moonlight reflecting off the nearby lake. They parked at the turnout, believing they were alone. At approximately 11:15 p.m., a car approached and parked near them. The teenagers likely thought nothing of it at first. Perhaps just another couple seeking seclusion. But moments later, a figure emerged from the vehicle and began firing at their car. The attacker fired shots into the Rambler, forcing the couple to exit. 10 shell casings would later be recovered from the scene. The male teenager was shot in the head behind his left ear as he emerged from the car. He collapsed, fatally wounded but still breathing. The female teenager managed to open her door and flee on foot. She made it 28 feet before the assailant fired his .22 caliber semi-automatic pistol. 5 bullets struck her back. She fell face down onto the gravel, dying at the scene. The male teenager was still alive when a passing motorist discovered them minutes later. He was unresponsive and died en route to the hospital. The entire attack had taken no more than 2 minutes. There were no witnesses and no usable tire or footprints. Their killer vanished into the night, later sending taunting letters identifying himself as the Zodiac. The Zodiac killer was never caught, despite one of the largest manhunts in California history. The murders of the two teenagers marked the beginning of a killing spree that would terrorize the San Francisco Bay Area for years. The fire and stabbings. On September 28th, 2000...
I hope everybody that died in that, and all the other accidents that happened. This is a massacre.
2014. The upscale community of Skillman, New Jersey awoke to shocking news. A 72-year-old former New Jersey Transportation Commissioner and hospital executive and his 69-year-old wife, a retired teacher, were found dead in their bedroom after firefighters responded to reports of smoke coming from their home. The couple had spent the previous evening at home. Records showed the husband had a FaceTime call with a grandchild at 5 p.m. and sent a work email around 7 p.m. Nothing seemed amiss until approximately 6 a.m., when smoke was spotted billowing from the second-floor windows of their colonial-style house in the Meadows neighborhood. When firefighters entered the master bedroom, they encountered a scene that puzzled investigators. The fire had been contained mostly to the bedroom, with an unusual pattern suggesting an accelerant had been used. Beneath the smoke and ash, they discovered the couple on the floor near their bed. Both had been stabbed multiple times, the wife 12 times and the husband 5 times. The initial police theory suggested a murder-suicide scenario, proposing that the husband had stabbed his wife before turning the blade on himself and setting the fire. But forensic evidence told a different story. The wife's wounds indicated defense injuries on her arms. The husband's wounds included a slash across his throat and a stab to his jugular that would have made it nearly impossible for him to continue attacking or start a fire. Most critically, the weapon that killed the husband, described as having a narrow blade like a stiletto, was never found at the scene. The autopsy revealed the wife was dead before the fire started, while the husband, despite severe injuries, had apparently tried to move about the room, leaving blood smears on various surfaces. Evidence showed the husband had soot in his lungs and carbon monoxide in his blood, indicating he was alive when the fire began. Smoke inhalation ultimately contributed to his death as the fire consumed the oxygen in the room. The case remains officially unsolved, with the husband's manner of death changed from suicide to undetermined in 2017, though the family continues to seek answers. Monster of Florence. On August 21st, 1968, a warm summer night descended on the small Italian community of Lastra Signa near Florence. A 29-year-old masonry worker had been having an affair with a 32-year-old homemaker, known in the village for her numerous relationships, earning her the nickname Queen Bee. That evening, they drove to a secluded countryside spot in the man's car. The woman's 6-year-old son was asleep in the back seat.
What?
The couple likely believed he would remain sleeping while they engaged in intimate activities.
Yo, come on, bro. It's like, and this was like, said 1961. Damn, that shit was like 99 years ago, bro. But anyway, it doesn't matter, bro. Y'all getting jiggy in the car with the kid, bro, sleeping, bro. Like, come on, my nigga. Like, it's like it gets to a point. I didn't know they was going like that back then too. Yeah, this generation's doing. It's over, bro. Yeah, you mean to tell me back in like 99 years ago, they had kids in the car doing stuff while they were doing stuff and shit, bro? Yeah, nah. It's over.
As night fell, the couple was in their car in the isolated location. Around midnight, as the couple was together in the car, an assailant attacked. Without warning, the attacker approached the car and produced a 20.
Bro, y'all so horny that y'all not even worried about what's around y'all, bro. Y'all putting y'all little son, her son, whatever, in danger. That means not only that, she was cheating, because they already said she was talking to a whole bunch of other men. So she was cheating on the father of the kid, you know what I'm saying, with the kid in the car. Feel me? Then y'all in a secluded area, not aware of y'all surroundings, so y'all so horny, and you getting shot. That's what I'm saying,
.2 caliber
bro.
Beretta.
It's
The
about
man
awareness,
barely
bro.
had time to register the threat when the stranger fired, killing him. The woman was
I
also
put him
shot
on,
multiple times and killed. The sound of the shots was partially
kiss her
muffled
off?
by the isolated location, but they were loud enough to wake the child in the back seat. The child witnessed the aftermath of his mother's murder. The male victim died almost immediately, and the woman also succumbed to her wounds. The killer chose not to harm the boy. In a strange
I mean, that's fair. RP to them, but at least they didn't kill the little kid.
turn of events, accounts vary about what happened next. The boy appeared at a nearby farmhouse around 2 a.m., roughly a mile from the crime scene. When asked about the incident, the child told the occupant that his father was sick at home and that his mother and uncle were dead in the car. His testimony would later change multiple times during police interrogations. The woman's husband was convicted of the murders in 1970 and sentenced to 14 years in prison.
Oh, so it was a cheating thing? So this was the son's dad.
However, this became the first of 16 murders attributed to the monster of Florence, a
Damn.
killer who was never conclusively identified despite decades of investigation. In 1982, ballistics tests revealed that the same weapon had been used in
1982,
subsequent
that's
double
20 years after this.
murders committed while the husband was imprisoned, connecting this
Yeah.
case to a
So he
serial
just went to prison for nothing, bro.
killer who terrorized the Florence area until 1985. Ex-wife's revenge.
RP to all them, bro.
On November 5th,
Ex-wife's
1989, in the upscale neighborhood of Marston Hills
They
in
was
San
cheating in 1989? Yeah, I ain't
Diego,
lying, bro.
a 44-year-old medical
This is
malpractice attorney, and his 28-year-old legal assistant turned
Damn.
wife were asleep in their bedroom. The couple had been married for just 7 months,
Married?
following the attorney's bitter divorce from his first wife.
She was 21 when they got married.
The ex-wife, a 41-year-old mother of 4, just 2 days from her 42nd birthday, had been seething with resentment since discovering the attorney's affair with his new wife 2 years earlier.
Oh, yeah. Bro's pacing around the room, all
The
mad.
divorce had been contentious, with the ex-wife claiming the attorney used his legal expertise to leave her financially disadvantaged. In the early hours of that November morning, the ex-wife put her plan for revenge into
Y'all don't be doing revenge out here, bro. Killing people and stuff. Alright? I just want to say that.
motion. At approximately 5:30 a.m., she drove to the couple's house at 1041 Cypress Avenue. The ex-wife
Hey,
used a
scared to
key
hold
she
on.
had taken from her daughter to enter through a back door. She moved silently up the staircase,
Was the back
carrying a
door open?
38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver purchased
Damn.
months earlier. The ex-wife entered the master bedroom where the couple slept. The new wife may have woken first, sensing someone in the room. The ex-wife raised the revolver and fired 5 shots. 2 bullets hit the new wife in the head and chest, killing her instantly. 1 bullet struck the attorney in the chest as he reached for the bedside phone. 2 other shots missed, hitting the wall and a nightstand. "Okay, you shot me. I'm dead," the attorney said, now fully
You know what's
awake.
crazy, bro? I think it's like you can actually get. Well, I don't think if it's this exact scenario, but you can get away with murders like this if it's like I think it's like law of attraction or something like that, where like basically if you cheat on your girlfriend and she kills somebody, they won't get punished for it as much.
and recognizing his
Because it was like out of emotion and shit.
ex-wife in the darkness. The ex-wife had removed the phone from the bedroom so he could not call for help. The attorney remained conscious for several minutes, bleeding profusely onto the bedsheets, before dying. The ex-wife left the house, called her daughter to confess, and turned herself into police hours later. At trial, the ex-wife claimed temporary insanity, but was convicted of 2 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to 32 years to life in prison. She remains incarcerated at the California Institution for Women.
32 years? Isn't she damn near out now? 1989? It's 2026? Shit, she might get out a couple years.
Denied parole. If you want to see more videos like this, click
No, but still. So I don't know, man. Y'all just do good in the world, man. I mean, don't be killing people, robbing people and shit, man. I mean, find y'all a little hobby. Get right, man. Love y'all, man. See y'all tomorrow, man. Hopefully my video's posted.